Let's start this with a prayer. Dear Father, I just thank you for this day and this opportunity to be used as a vessel to let your people know that you are available, able, and ready in the name of Jesus of Nazareth. Let's cut this bread. Matthew 16:24 says, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Matthew 22:37 through 40 says, and he said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love the Lord, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And on these two commandments depend all the law and the law of the prophets. John 14:15 says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. I know. Following Jesus requires you to stop having fun, to stop living, to stop breathing, to stop associating with people who are not like you. Who told you that? Who told you that? I think that a lot of the misinformation comes from the misguidance of the leaders that have been put in place before you. Yesterday, I seen how vicious people can be when it comes to God. God's narcissistic, he is a liar, he is just outlandish. You don't know him. And it really had to take me back to Matthew 16:24, because if I would come after him, I would have to deny myself. And because I go after Jesus, I can't go after people the way that I used to. I seen a post on Facebook that just made me respond, and I normally don't respond because it's clickbait, right? Like, people want to have attention, so they'll say things to push your buttons like a typewriter, but don't nobody use typewriters no more, so you can't push it that tight, right? But like, the whole premise of this real question, and that's what it was, put out there as, who's right, God or LGBTQ? Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, God is always right. Always, always, always right. And even if I don't agree with something that somebody else says, God is right. So you know what that means? That I got to conduct myself a certain way. That means that I have to respond a certain way. So I obviously responded and just was like, yo, God is right. He sets the standard, and anybody that doesn't want to follow that is following themselves. So in essence, you are wrong if you are not following God, because you missed the mark, and that's where the sin is. It's not about LGBTQ. It ain't like they want a platform. That's not on the same platform as God. So if that's what somebody believes, cool, that's you. I don't believe in it though. I'm not gonna sit here and bash you because this is how you live, but let me tell you right now, getting piped by a plastic penis, that sounds like death to me. I got a cousin who's gay. I got another cousin who's gay. I know a couple of people that are gay, and not once will they ever tell you that I have treated them different. Because I won't. Because what you eat don't make me defecate nothing. That's what you take in, right? However, these scriptures are so pertinent to, how we are to move, right? Because in Matthew 22, Jesus starts saying that you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind. And this is the great and first commandment. If I love God with my everything, all them other 10 commandments, the other 8 that Moses gave, they fall right in line. So I ain't even got to worry about it. But Jesus is saying love is the greatest. Love is the strongest thing. The whole law is fulfilled with one word, and that is love. Even though I know people are wrong, I love you enough to not hurt your feelings. I love you enough to not sit here and try to come at you like I can judge you. I don't have that type of power. And anybody that says that they are a Christian and they follow Christ and they judge somebody else, they are not following him. My beef is not with an unbeliever, because I know what it's like to be an unbeliever, because you in a box and you can't see stuff and you don't know how God is moving. You don't know how Jesus is working. You don't know the price that he paid for your life. So why would you speak on something that you don't believe on? Unless you like that attention. But then again, that's not my place to say nothing. Just don't try to be like, oh, yo, God, hold up. Don't assume. Because you know what they say about assuming. You make an ass out of you and me. And let me tell you, I'm with it. I'm with it. To a point and to an extent. Because I'm not going to show out anymore where my love for God is put on the back burner. I love him so much that I don't care if people ridicule me, because they do. Right? I don't care if people talk behind my back, because they do. I don't care if people don't want to hang out with me because I talk about Jesus and I refuse to live a certain type of way, because I do. It doesn't matter to me. But because I love God with my mind, my body, and my soul, I want to be mindful of what he wants. And that allows me to see the pain in somebody else, that disbelief in somebody else, that confusion in somebody else, that void. So because I love God with my mind, body, and my soul, and I come after Jesus and I deny myself, I'm going to love my neighbor the way that I love me. I don't have to know you to treat you with respect. I don't have to know you to treat you with human decency. I know those things are rare, but I'm cut from a different cloth. Like, I'm cut from the best texture. Y'all cut from napkins. This is why people are so emotional, because as soon as that napkin gets wet, it's useless. You get wet with emotional, whatever. It's trash. Just soaked up trash. But I get it, because I was there. And the way that I love God is intense. Like, by nature, I am just a person that loves very strong and very hard. I love loyalty. I love commitment. I love oneness, right? And nobody taught me who Jesus was. And I done been to plenty of churches. I done sat in plenty of shows. Because a lot of people put on shows when they go to church. I done sat with the pastor, and I hear how they come after her. I hear how they ridicule her. But she got to stand strong, and, she got to be like, look, we are on one accord. We fall in line with God, and we are obedient to him despite what you think, feel, or see. I get it. But the Jesus that is alive today, because Jesus is alive, he is walking around, he is in the lives of those that he has changed, and you should be able to see this, because then people shouldn't act the same no more. Whatever Jesus you thought said, we don't mess with them, we don't kick it with them, we too good for that, I'm not going to support anybody in a pride parade. I love you, but I ain't going to no pride parade with you. Just like I'm not going to support anybody who wants to eat sushi. I'm not going to eat that meal with you. Love you, but I'm not going to sit down and eat something with you that's distasteful to me. That doesn't mean that I should disrespect you. Love covers a multitude of sins. We need to know who we serve, why we serve, and how we can serve. But the greatest is to love God with your mind, body, and soul. Other people's salvation could depend on it. It does depend on it. Because if you're not loving God correctly with everything, you're not going to receive correctly. And somebody else could be waiting on you to deliver a message that could save them. Attitude, demeanor, all of that is contingent on the love that we receive from the Father. And if we're receiving pure love, we're going to give out pure love. I don't know where you are in your walk. I encourage you to holler at God. Let Jesus just reign. He is the King. He is the Prince of Peace. He is the beginning, the end. He is the one that everything was created through. His name should be praised. God should be praised daily. This is not a physical fight. This is a spiritual battle. Grab your weapons. Holla at God.